off right. Monday night, and 2K Sports presents the NBA. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. Here in Orlando, it's interconference basketball as the Magic look to defend home court at the Amway Center. And of course, this is the first they're seeing of Dallas. They lost both of the matchups in this interconference battle a season ago. They like to change that now. So let's take a look at the starters for the Dallas Mavericks. Hayward out there with West. Then there's Bradley Beal, and it's Marc Gasol, and it's Rubio in at the point.
The one-hand slam is so sweet when it's his hand doing the slam.
Oh, yeah, he is so smooth, even on a power finish like that.
And really, that's... what makes him unique, that combination of power and polish.
And in an era where so many guys take the money and run, Gordon Hayward did the best he could to live up to his new contract. Clark, last year, a 4-year max deal signed heading into last season.
Yeah, and the way max contracts work nowadays,
that jam! Just beautiful.
Tell you what, he's going to put that one in his scrapbook. Absolutely insane with that dunk.
Well, now they're starting to rub it in, aren't they? Build up a lead, and here we go, folks. It's showtime.
That was a Kodak moment right there. The more plays they make like that, the more they'll have these guys on the ropes.
Beal can't get it to go.
And really, despite that miss, they've had a solid start offensively.
Got a piece of it. Beal with the steal. The basket good off the assist from Hayward. And let's get your guys' take now on the hustle stats for the Mavericks.
Boy, they've really amped up the pressure at the defensive end, guys, and have piled up the steals in the early going.
And the other thing that's been equally as effective is the fact that they've gotten out on the fast break. A lot of points coming in transition. And they keep going down low with the ball and keep getting positive results.
Extremely positive. I mean, this is a very nice lead to have early in the ball game.
Another miss by Orlando.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look. And the offense has come together immediately. I mean, they're threatening to run away with this thing already.
Greg, it's hard to imagine they'll stay this hot for 4 quarters, but if they even approximate that, watch out.
Thomas goes in. Left side, Love. Nice follow through on the fadeaway.
That's a big basket. You don't want to let the game get away from you right off the bat.
Rubio with it. Picked up by Love. West kicks to Hayward. Back to West. Just 5 on the clock. And there's the pass to Hayward. West with a wide open look. And the Mavericks getting another bucket right there.
You know, usually teams go on runs and it comes from a lot of layups and dunks. But that's not the case here.
Well, it's about rhythm. And they put this run together on the strength of their mid-range jump shot. They might as well be layups with the way they're shooting. And a huge lead here early to start.
Well, you know, right from the tip, there's not anything they haven't done well so far.
The Orlando Magic didn't make the playoffs last year for the 3rd consecutive season, Greg. They knew it wasn't a realistic goal for them.
Yeah, and last season wasn't really about making the postseason, Kevin, for this group. It's soon that will have to be the goal as patience will wear thin within that fan base.
Thomas against Rubio. And Quentin Lee gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul.
Well, it's been a while for the Magic in regards to the postseason. Another year of missing postseason play. This latest playoff drought comes after they made 6 straight trips to the playoffs from 2007 to 2012.
And despite that miss, a strong start for them offensively.
Yeah, they're scoring with confidence, Greg, making them count in the early going here.
Oh, that is just weak defense there. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan to give him those kind of baskets at the hoop.
Hayward outside. Lets it go from deep. Second shot opportunity. West gets the bucket. West has got 6 points.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Yeah, you can't say that with enough emphasis. I mean, the defenders are just not being aggressive enough down low. You got to play with some physicality in the paint.
Beal gets a wide open look. Buries it from three-point range. He has 7.
And overall, this Orlando franchise has been pretty consistent in making the playoffs. They've had 14 playoff trips since the inception of the franchise back in 1989. Given how hard it can be for expansion teams, you have to say that's a solid mark. And the second chance becomes a dunk we could feel over here.
GA, such a good, aggressive play in the paint.
Guys, it's all about persistence on the offensive glass. You just can't ever give up on a play.
And Dallas calls their first time out of the game. Well, last season would be one where Kevin Love played a different role, saw his numbers decline, but that was, I think, especially with LeBron and Kyrie, much better players than he ever had in Minnesota. That was to be expected.
It's a great point, Kevin. And Love dropped about 10 points per game in terms of his output. The field goal percentage as well as three-point percentage was down, but still, he traded it all to be on a winning team. And I really feel like his numbers will start to go up as he makes the adjustment to playing with great players.
Good point. And a new group getting ready for Dallas. Al Farouk Aminu, he's checked in for West. Waiters comes in for Gordon Hayward. Allen's checked in for Bradley Beal. And Mo Williams subbed in for Ricky Rubio.
And, you know, for Love last season, we knew he'd be in a supporting role to LeBron. You put any player next to LeBron, and he automatically becomes some kind of role player.
High-quality shot, just a little off there with the release.
And, Greg, that has him S-H-H-E. Shaking his head. Tough miss that time.
Clark.
And thinking back to Love and his numbers last year, we saw the same thing from Bosh when he played with LeBron. Love and Bosh had similar reductions in scoring, but both were still great players, and they both have the ability to adapt and impact the game in other ways.
Williams, that's good.
They've worked hard and created great chances for themselves in this opening quarter.
And if they match that effort at the defensive end, watch out.
It's stolen by Allen. For the finish. And then Waiters with the jam.
I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen throughout, just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively turning into quick points.
And that can't continue. I mean, if they hope to get back in this game, I mean, it's really deflating from a morale standpoint. They need stops and points, not turnovers.
Rips down the breakaway slam.
And a great job of taking advantage of the steal there to get those easy ones in transition.
You know, that's exactly how you draw it up, Greg, on the board. I mean, good defensive work, aggressive play in the open court. Those two things are hand in glove when they work together.
Allen's shot is off. The Magic trail by 20. Here's Lee. And the officials whistle a foul on the shot. The bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
Really aggressive play there, taking it to the rack against the big fella.
You know, Greg, aggressiveness is really the only option when you're on the wrong side of the size equation.
And he's got his first chance at the line here. Weiss is checked in for Dallas.
And guys, when you go to look for holes in the game of Tobias Harris, there really aren't any. One of the hardest workers in our league. If he has any weakness at all, it's his average size speed combo, which most likely will keep him from becoming the perennial all-star type.
To the paint. Here's Lee. That's good. And it's Thomas picking up the assist. Lee's got 5 now.
You know, that's been a big part of their offense in the early stages. I mean, their success working the ball inside and getting points from close range, right at the rim.
And Clark, they might as well keep doing it. I mean, attack the basket until the defense makes an adjustment.
Williams against Lee. It's Allen on the wing. Again, Allen missing. On the topic of Tobias Harris, you love that he can contribute in every category of play. He's a solid face-up shooter. Clark, he's getting better with his back to the basket. You can see movement forward all the time.
I love what this young man has shown thus far. You mentioned those things he does. He'll also rebound for you, get loose balls. He does the little things, understands what it takes to win. A consummate pro and team player. Really nice dime dropping there. Playmaking ability is exactly what you get from Isaiah Thomas.
It's Williams with the drive. And out of bounds as the Magic will gain possession.
And really just a lack of awareness on his part. Just no idea he was right near the line.
It'll count. And that's not going to go. And after just 1 quarter of play, a double-digit differential on the scoreboard. It's Dallas up by 15. 2K Sports back in a moment from the Amway Center. And we welcome you back to start the quarter. Players had a chance to get hydrated with Gatorade. And there's certain to be some great basketball ahead for us. And quite a position here for the Mavericks to be in. What do you think, guys?
Really active hands early on here as they're able to acquire several steals.
Well, they've really been aggressive guys on defense, and it's paid off, so why stop? Keep it up.
The Magic trail by 15. On the court for Dallas here in the second. Foyle is out there with Ricky Rubio. Then there's Terrence Jones. And it's Hayward. And it's Price in at center. No good from Lee. The Mavericks shooting it as well as you're going to see, 67%. An intentional foul committed, but for what purpose, Greg, I'm not sure.
A scene of confusion right there. I can't imagine why he thought it was a good idea to foul there.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. West is checked in for Price, and Bradley Beal subbed in for Randy Ford. Rubio the pass to West. Shot clock at 6. And Beal kicks to Rubio. Here's Jones. Takes the 13-footer. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. Marc Gasol's checked in for Dallas. Looking at Dallas, they want to turn it around after the loss to the Grizzlies. Mavericks last season, Clark, were very tough down the stretch in games. Had a lot of players that shined all the time during crunch time.
Well, when you've got guys like Dirk and Monte that can create their own shot, it gives you a chance to win close games. It's a big reason they were 6-0 in overtime games, in my opinion.
Beal against Lee. Beal's shot is good. Beal's got 9. The Magic trail by 14. Lee dishes to Monroe. And that one comes up a bit short.
Great looking defense, really, just to disrupt the rhythm on that shot.
Yeah, really turned it from a simple, straightforward look into a very difficult shot.
And you look at it, 8 of the last 10 points they've given up here coming in transition.
And defensively, you've got to recognize that threat and make the correction.
Down low. Here's Lee. That ball's great assist by Love. He has 7.
Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding, and they're piling up the assists. No doubt about the consistency when it comes to scoring the basketball for him tonight. A real nice lift for their offense.
Can't hit. And it's Dallas the other way. They led the game at 1 point by 20.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those boards.
Clark, it wouldn't hurt. Some extra possessions would definitely help narrow the gap and maybe swing the momentum.
Monroe's shot is good.
Yeah, that's asking a lot from that defender.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, he just doesn't have the size to really be effective in that kind of matchup.
Dallas calls timeout. One thing about Greg Monroe, he is a highly skilled big.
He really is. I love the fact that he can do so much. He can post you up, he can pop out and knock down the 15-footer. He's an outstanding passer, and at his size, those are skills that have served him and his teams well.
So a new group on the floor for Orlando. And we're now a little over 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
And getting back to Greg Monroe, guys, he made some subtle strides last season. Best rebounding average of his career, up to 75% on his free throws. And how about this little nugget? Not one three-point attempt last season. That tells you he's starting to mature. I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
And the jam by Hayward. That's not as easy as he made it look, guys. You've got to have some skills to pull that baby off.
Well, he's got plenty of those skills necessary.
And you know what?
Man.
That man can climb a ladder.
Sanders. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him.
And you know, with some people, they'll always find something wrong with Monroe's game. He'll never make the all-defensive team. He kind of looks like he's playing at half speed, but he produces, and he does it within the team confines.
Calderon kicks to Sanders. West with some nice D.
He's always going to have a difficult time finishing when the defense is in his face like that.
Took him no time at all on that one. And it's 13 points for Gordon Hayward.
And that's sort of been the story here today, hasn't it?
Inside. It's deflected. It's stolen by Calderon. Basket is good. The assist from Harris.
Wow, that's a really smooth finish.
That's why we and they always love seeing him at the end of those breaks. He makes it look fun and easy. Terrific assist that time by Rubio.
The Magic trailed by 20 and finished off by Sanders.
And really just led him to his sweet spot for that finish.
Sanders with the steal. And Wright kicks to Calderon. And he floats in for the easy two. Credit the assist on that one. Calderon's got 4 this quarter.
They have repeatedly probed inside in the first half, guys, and it's paid dividends.
And with as many points as they've gotten in the paint, you know, they haven't had to do much work on the perimeter.
Well, it was a defensive issue for the Magic. They had trouble stopping opponents last season, guys. I mean, didn't really challenge anything at their own rim, and that's really what made it tough for them.
So he gets the whistle, contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And as they always seem to do, the Mavs feasted on the Eastern Conference last season. Dallas would end up with 50 wins on the year, and 21 of them coming against the East.
As you said, the Mavs just taking it to the Eastern Conference. It's been that way for a long time, it seems. They've really, Clark, got that number.
Well, under the Mavs' current ownership, they have never had a losing record against the Eastern Conference, Kevin. Beating up the East is why they've been in the playoffs so much in the last 15 years.
And the foul on Mike Scott. That's his first foul.
And you can see he just didn't get squared up with his feet.
Greg, those are always tough to judge, but I think the official got that one right.
Here's Allen. Looking for his first basket still in this one. Jones. Rejected by Sanders. Shot is off.
I mean, that can happen to anyone, but it's ugly every time it does.
Yeah, it is unfortunate and embarrassing. He just lost his concentration for a split second, and that's all it took.
And it's Williams. That time the assist by Jones.
And this collapse we've seen by their interior defense, it's really the reason why they've struggled and are in such a hole.
Here's Wright. And the rebound goes to the Mavericks.
Oh, tough D on the inside.
It sure was, Greg. No easy access to the basket when that fella's in the middle.
Ooh, a forceful finish from the big fella.
Well, with a player for that size, you'd think he'd make the highlight reel more often.
Yeah, you know, he just appears to lack an edge at times in his game. I mean, he can be too passive and reluctant on the court.
And it's Harris off the drive. Sanders' shot is good.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
And on the flip side, Greg, the defenders have to show more fight on the interior. They've got to offer more resistance here.
Here's Scott. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. That's on Terrence Jones.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
Blatant contact. Straightforward call. Simple.
And Mike Scott, a former second-round draft pick who has carved out a role here in the NBA the last 2 seasons. Clark, he was a major contributor off the bench.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tweener, you know, not big enough to maintain position down low on a consistent basis and not quick enough to really be a 3-man or small forward, but what he can do is get to the basket, rebound okay, and knock down the deep shot.
There's 49 seconds left in the first half of basketball. And good on the basket. Book it.
And an open path to the hoop there. Easy bucket. We've seen that far too many times today.
Tell you what, Kevin, they'd love to see him get a lot more of those opportunities.
Clark, that deficit will go away quickly if he does.
And how about how he capped that one out? Almost like the 1-2 punch. Ooh, that's as forceful a finish as you're ever going to see out of this guy.
Well, gee, it adds now to their lead in spectacular fashion.
And, you know, that lead's only going to grow if they're not prepared to defend a little more staunchly than that.
Waiters gets a wide open look. It's good. Great play by Williams to set it up. Williams has got 3 assists now in this one. Thomas passes to Harris. That's a 2 from Lee. And a great job by the D contesting that shot and forcing the miss. And it's out of bounds. They say it was last touched by Williams.
Not the kind of pass you want to be making right there. He's lucky it wasn't stolen.
Here's Love. And oh, he hits the buzzer beater.
And that's a...
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Mavericks lead by 13. And we'll be back right after halftime to get the third quarter underway. Well, it's been a one-sided affair so far through the first 2 quarters, but there's plenty of time to mount a comeback. Bradley Beal having a dominant impact in this game.
Yeah, you know, one of the things about the truly greats of our game is that sometimes you get spoiled because of how consistent they can be. And so far, another big scoring night for him.
And oftentimes when he puts up that many points in the first half, he follows it up with an even better second half. We'll see if that's the case here.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started.
what a performance from Beal here. 15 points and 1 steal.
He's just been impossible to contain. He's been unreal in this game.
Utterly fantastic is how I would categorize that performance, Greg.
Kevin Love out there with Tobias Harris. Then it's Isaiah Thomas. Then it's Lee. And it's Monroe in the 5 spot. That's who's out there for Orlando.
And Scott Skiles has been around the league as a coach for a while now, coming home to where he played most of his career here in Orlando. And at times, he can be a demanding coach.
There's the dish to West. Some nice passing here by Dallas. Here's Beal. And the rejection by Monroe. And up the court come the Magic on the break. And Ricky Rubio gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul.
I mean, I like the call. I thought the defense was just there a little late.
Yeah, it looked like it. I mean, he kind of slid underneath as he got to the spot, too.
A little over a minute gone here in the second half. Thomas dishes to Love. Pulls up. And he can't bank that one in. And Greg, you're right. Skiles is what, we'd call a no-nonsense coach. Makes perfect sense when you think about the team that now Clarkie's going to go coach in Orlando.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was great at developing players, and that's exactly why the Orlando Magic hired him. Plays with an edge, but he develops players quite nicely, too.
Holds him accountable, doesn't he?
Yep, well said.
And Hayward with a clear path to the hoop.
Whoa, quick hands on the steal and then just mad hops on the slam.
Great sequence for them defensively and Clark offensively.
Well, one usually leads to the other, Kevin. That's just good, aggressive, attacking basketball at both ends.
Gasol kicks it to West. Pass to Beal. Back to West. And Lee pulls it down. The Magic trailed by 19. And Thomas, here we go. That's good. Thomas got 6 points.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But boy, that was a nice job.
And the Mavericks call time here.
And guys, Courtney Lee, now having completed 7 full seasons, very much the same guy now as he was entering the league. A 3-and-D prototype who will most likely never be a plus playmaker.
Here's what Orlando's going with right now. Sanders checked in for Love. Harris comes in for Lee. And it's Calderon in for Isaiah Thomas. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot 2. Talking about Courtney Lee, the ball handling and court vision are suspect, but, you don't care because he's provided solid defense on the wing, Clark, and he's hit over 40% of his threes last year.
And he's also one of the best free throw shooting 2 guards in the league, Kevin. And last year, he and Conley were out of sight at the end of games. That's a wonderful combo to have, 2 great free throw shooting guards late.
And that's just carelessness there. I mean, you have got to have your head in the game.
Now, here's Rubio. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Hayward on the wing, guarded by Harris. Hayward passes to Gasol. So he gets the whistle, contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And Marc Gasol, surprisingly nimble for a 7-footer. He really moves his feet well at both ends of the floor.
Good on both. And when you look at Marc Gasol now versus when he came into the league, remarkable how that body of his, Clark, has transformed.
Kevin, he changed his diet and he dropped a bunch of weight. Believe it or not, he even grows vegetables at his house. He's really gone all in on the transformation of his body.
Clark, good information.
Yes, sir.
How'd
That's
you know
what we
all
do.
that stuff?
That's what we do here.
Woo.
Info and entertainment.
West with the steal. And now Beal pushing it up, and no one back to stop him. And Hayward at the stuff.
just Mr. Reliable again here today, Kevin. I mean, they need his points, and he's producing.
Now Harris. He has 5. And he can't stop the run as he misses.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor, and it's all adding up.
Well, you take a look at all of the stats, the team stats, that is, and that's one of the many areas that they've had the advantage. And as a result, they've got a big lead.
Wow, just look at that lead. Both ends, they have been the team in control.
Yeah, and they put the fans simply on mute. They've not had anything to cheer about, and they've been silent.
And Gary Harris is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. A different look for Dallas. Al-Farouq Aminu, he's checked in for West. Allen comes in for Beal, and it's Williamson for Ricky Rubio. And there's a whistle that goes against Greg Monroe. That will get him his 4th foul of the game. Mavericks making a switch here. Jones is checked in.
Terrence Jones.
Don't leave him open.
Calderon against Williams. And Aminu kicks to Gasol. He feeds it to Allen. Just 5 to shoot. And there's Gasol. That's good on the assist by Allen. 11 points for Marc Gasol.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Yeah, and that's 4 straight field goals now, Greg, they've allowed from point-blank range. Can't happen.
And let's take a moment here to get your guys' take on scoring so far for the Mavericks.
Fantastic passing. We saw it in the first half, and it's carried over here in the second.
They've also been pounding it inside tonight and coming away with a lot of points in the paint. I call those PIPs.
Mavs made the playoffs again last season. 14th playoff berth for them in the last 15 years, and only the San Antonio Spurs have made more, Greg, over that time frame.
Yeah, and they had a tough first-round opponent in the number 2 seed, Houston. A good old Texas tussle between the 2 and the 7 seeds.
Make it 10 of their last 12 points coming off assists.
You have to love the ball movement.
On the wing, Harris. Calderon, that's for 2. Kept alive. Sanders. Can't get it to fall.
It's a +5 advantage for them in the rebounding category after that board.
Very steady with their work on the interior. Really a well-rounded effort overall.
Right side, Williams. The Mavericks shooting their 6th and 7th free throw attempts tonight.
And they've done some really nice work at the foul line, knocking down 80%.
Really, guys, it's just come together for them at the charity stripe this season. I mean, the confidence is there, and so too are the results.
Waiters, he's checked in for Dallas. Foy comes in for Williams. Well, the Magic knew that last season would be one, Greg, for development. A young team like they had needs to grow before they can really compete.
And you touched upon it, Kevin. They really were a young team last season. 3rd youngest team in the league by the end of the year. How about an average age of just over 24 years old?
And you talk about that low age number for the Magic. You mentioned it a moment ago, and they had several rookies last season. That's why they were so young. It was as good a year as any to get their feet wet and see what those young guys could do.
Will it go? And it's slammed in by Monroe.
Yeah, you're making things far too easy for him when you let him get it that deep.
I echo that. Ditto. I mean, you've got to do your work early to try to keep him out of the post. Fight him a little bit. Keep him away from that spot he wants.
That one was solid. There's a big difference in the field goal percentages between these two teams here in the second half.
And, Greg, that difference has come about because we've got one team moving crisply, getting good shots, and the other is just kind of stagnant. Boy, a big gap between these teams as far as fast break points are concerned.
Yeah, and some teams play a slower tempo, but defensively you have to commit to sprinting back in transition and denying those runouts. And the Magic while their youth did grow over the course of the season, they still struggle. And they do need a veteran presence to kind of ensure that they don't start developing that culture of losing in the franchise.
Foy dishes to Jones. Kicks it out to Allen. Lets it fly from 18. And Dallas again with the bucket.
They've had assists now on their last 3 baskets.
And it's not just their passing, but also the body movement off the ball that's created a lot of those opportunities.
Jones with it. Picked up by Harris. That's good. And 11 points for Dion Waiters.
Yeah, the chemistry has been terrific. Really impressed with their offensive execution.
You know, the defense, Greg, has really been kept off balance because of the outstanding passes. 4 straight field goals have been made off an assist.
Stolen by Monroe. Harris passes to Sanders. Basket is good. The assist from Harris. Harris has got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. And Waiters kicks to Foy. And he's got his first free throw of the game.
And how about a year ago? 82% on his foul shot, so he was reliable when he went to the line.
You know, he really did excel at the stripe. I mean, they couldn't have asked for too much more from him when it came to knocking down free throws.
No good on the second, so he hits 1 of 2. To the left side wing. Waiters dishes to Allen. Back to Waiters. And as we conclude the 3rd quarter, pretty much a blowout. It's been a one-sided affair. Mavericks ahead, running away with it. And we're coming back in just a moment. Get ready for the 4th quarter of action. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the 4th. Dallas shooting has been sensational, 75% for the game. A moment now to reset the lineups, brought to us by Gatorade, all fueled up here for the 4th quarter. On the court for the Mavericks. Mo Williams out there with Foy. Then there's Dion Waiters. Then there's Boozer. And it's Price in at the center position.
The right thing there to stay that tight on him and really try to keep him out of his comfort zone.
Outside Williams. Here's Waiters. That drops, and it comes off an assist from Williams. And that's 13 points for Dion Waiters. On the wing, Harris. Fires from 18. And stolen by Williams. Pushing it up. And Boozer throws it down.
No doubt that is within his range.
Well, I would hope so. He's a pro, and it was only a 1-footer. Come on now.
And it's Harris off the drive. And stolen by Williams. And here we go with Waiters running it up the court. It's stolen by Harris. Out of bounds. Dallas takes possession. Terrence Jones is checked in for Boozer. The Mavericks have gone 2 of 4 from the field since we started the final quarter of play. Waiters grabs the miss. Sanders has gone 40% from the floor in 10 attempts. Stolen by Monroe. Passes to Sanders. Fires the 3. Once again off the mark, Orlando.
And not a night he's going to want to remember, just not really able to score the basketball.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
The Magic have gone 0 of 3 to start the 4th quarter. The feed to Harris. He dishes it to Monroe. Releases from 15.
Their rebounding has been off the charts today, guys. Reason number 1, this game is out of hand.
Exactly, Clark. Their lead is not surprising given their advantage on the backboard.
They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Sure could, Kev. I mean, too many empty trips. They need some points. I'll tell you what, the defenders didn't even get a sniff of him on that move to the hoop.
Randy Foye is on the wing, guarded by Harris. And Foye kicks to Williams. Here's Price. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there. Mavs were solid on the road last year with a record of 23-18 away from Dallas Clark. Good for 5th most road wins in the West.
And, Kevin, that's what you'd expect from a veteran team like the Mavs. I mean, throughout the roster, this team has guys that understand what it takes to win on the road.
And, guys, the Mavs did have a good record on the road last year. Most of it came at the expense of the Eastern Conference. Only 10 of their 23 road wins came against teams in the West.
Mavericks have gone 3 of 5 here in the 4th quarter. Pretty good numbers coming out of the break. Sanders with the double team. Here's Jones. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2. That one on Monroe.
You know, it's funny, back to the Mavs on the road last season, they were much better defensively on the road than they were at home, and that's typically not the case. It's usually flipped, better at home on D than on the road.
He's perfect from the line this time.
And for Terrence Jones, there's a quiet excitement surrounding him in personnel circles. Last season, he was a much better rim protector, way up in blocks, and his three-point percentage was up as well. So those are the kinds of year 3 improvements that talent evaluators are always looking for, especially when you come into the league as an underclassman. And how does he get that one to go? No idea.
I don't have an idea either. A little heat check there, but yep, he's still cooking, and Greg, he's cooking with gas.
Looking at Terrence Jones, he really has that complete game. His ability to make a play at the rim, hit 35% of his threes. He's a multi-dimensional threat, long player, well-schooled, falls in line, I think, very well with any good team in this particular case. With one of the playoff teams in the West.
Yeah, he's one of the more efficient players in the league, over 53% his first 3 seasons. So defenses might want to choose to ignore somebody else.
Williams passes to Foye. And that'll be Dallas as it goes out of bounds. Mavericks retain possession. Out of bounds, Orlando takes possession. The Magic have gotten just under 45% of their attempts to drop in the 4th, 4 of 9. Ball's knocked loose.
The defense there got away with a major lapse.
And it's good. Assisting on the play was Williams. Foye's got 4 points this quarter.
And really a good job spotting his teammate near the bucket and then just pinpoint passing for the finish.
Monroe wide open, and it's off from 3-point range.
His touch has disappeared on him this quarter. He just hasn't been able to get it going.
And they've looked terrific in transition today. That's had a lot to do with their success.
Boy, it certainly has. I mean, they've done a really good job recognizing anytime they've had the numbers advantage, and then they've taken advantage. We've seen it time and time again here.
And what a double-double machine Greg Monroe is becoming. Top 6 for power forwards last season, top 5 for centers. And his game is only continuing to evolve.
Well, Greg, the thing about Monroe, we knew he was a prolific scorer and a rebounder when he was a 5-star recruit out of high school. So Clark, this is nothing new for him.
I think what you see, Kevin, is the added muscle coming into play and benefiting him. He's just an average athlete, but being stronger makes him more effective.
You know, I love how he absorbs the foul and still had a chance to knock that one down.
Boy, terrific play there. I thought even with all the contact, he still was going to get that shot to go down.
And he sinks the second. One thing about Jose Calderon, you could see the frustration in him last season, playing a career-low 42 games, and his averages were down pretty much, Greg, across the board.
Yeah, and Kevin, he was brought in to kind of invigorate the Knicks' point guard position, but following a preseason calf injury, you know, he missed the team's first 13 games and never was able to really get going. Remember, coming into a new system where he had to learn how to play differently, and then after all that, you know, you have to shut him down because of that left Achilles.
And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Monroe. For Dallas, they've gotten into a pretty good groove, going 6 of 10 here in the final quarter. Williams passes to Pleiss. Waiters on the wing. Pass to Pleiss. It's hauled in by the Magic. Monroe's got rebound number 5 here tonight.
And getting back to Jose Calderon, he's been an extremely efficient shooter for a point guard, 48% from the field throughout his career. But last season, he couldn't hit it at all. I mean, he dropped down to 41%.
Waiters passes to Pleiss. And there's the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
And you know, on the topic of Jose Calderon, his game is predicated on getting others involved. Last season, he had Carmelo Anthony to throw it to, and really pretty much no one else. So defenders could key on him a little more, causing him, I thought, to become just a little less efficient.
He hits the second from the line. The Amway Center here in Orlando didn't see a lot of wins last season. Magic really struggled at times. Surprisingly, Greg, in this building.
Yeah, a young team still haven't yet established their identity. Only 13 wins at home. And really that inability to defend that home court is why they fell out of the playoff hunt early.
Dishes it to Foy. Williams passes to Pleiss. 6 on the shot clock. And he gets it to go. Pleiss has got 5 points now in the quarter.
How many times have we seen a possession like that from them today, ending with a basket coming off a pretty pass?
Well, when you look at the assist totals, heck, they've been clearly the better team.
Here's Waiters. And the 3 off target.
You know, what's a bit alarming for the Magic at home is that it was a step back from the previous season. I mean, for a team that's supposed to be young and improving, they shouldn't be getting worse at home year to year.
And one team is just completely outclassing the other tonight. Spirited performance, and it really ignited what is turning out to be a monster win here for the Mavericks.
And they could do no wrong today, Steve. That's right. This was a team performing to its Clark fullest capability.
Yeah, and a very satisfying win for them, too. A game to remember, and on the other side, definitely one you want to forget as soon as possible.
And I think a great job in positioning themselves for the W here. It's win number 21 on the season.
And so they'll take the first game of the season series, a team they'll only see twice. They're certainly happy to start it off with a win.
And that next meeting, Greg, will be their second and final game of the season series, being in opposite conferences. So you bet nobody wants to get swept even in a 2-game season series. So I think the next game will be hotly contested.
A fantastic show. And what an amazing all-around game it was for Gordon Hayward. He was everywhere, defensively, offensively. The effort we saw from him tonight, I think, was the difference.
They get it again.
And the fans already heading for the exits, clearly not pleased with the way things turned out today.
Well, Greg, this was a well-deserved win. I mean, they came into this building and acted like it was their home turf. I mean, they were the ones calling the shots and controlling everything.
So we see the Mavericks taking the win here. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
They sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in.